This is Neil Schneider for MTBS-TV at SIGGRAPH 2019. To my immediate right is Gary Radburn. He is the Director of Virtual Reality, Augmented Reality, and Virtualization at Dell. Welcome to the program, Gary.
Thanks, Neil. It's great to be here.
So, really good SIGGRAPH this year, yeah?
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, I've been to countless SIGGRAPHs now. Every year you come back and it's like newer, bigger, better, stronger, faster. It's an absolutely fantastic show.
So let's talk a little bit about, I mean, you've got a big title there, VR, AR, stuff we understand. Virtualization, what does that mean?
Virtualization is when we're now starting to utilize the entire power of the unit across multiple users at the same time. We've all heard about cloud and how people are moving out, how people are wanting to do more with less. And this is a way that some of the direction of the processors is more cores. How do we utilize everything inside of that? We're now working on solutions where we can actually take a machine, subdivide it into multiple different users and still give them graphical horsepower. Some of the features, you've probably seen the new RTX cards from NVIDIA. The RTX 6000 and 8000 now support the ability to be able to cut down into multiple users and share that power amongst a lot of users there. So it's really exciting stuff, cutting edge.
So what I'm gathering is normally it's a one-to-one relationship between a computer and a user, and I gather what's happening here is we're getting like a massive horsepower, perhaps in the cloud, and it could be divvied up between multiple people? Is that the idea?
That's pretty much the gist of it. So you have one single card in a machine, so one GPU, and rather than that person going off for coffee or going down the road to talk to somebody and whatever and leaving the machine idle, or say powering it off overnight and then not utilizing that power, what we can actually do with virtualization techniques is split that one card over, let's say for sake of argument, 4 users, and then if one person's rendering, another person might be thinking about what they're going to draw, another one might be placing an object in a simple way. All of that will seamlessly time slice across all of those users and give them all an excellent experience from that single card. There's one other benefit as well, which is when the users go home, so you've split it over 4 users, you could potentially bring another image up, which now makes it part of a render farm. So you can now render your dailies, for instance, if you're a picture studio, render your dailies overnight, and then when the users come back in, you reset it to be 4 users again, and they can then see the output of that render farm. So it's very versatile.
Now, until now, when I think of cloud, I think of something in the distance. I think of like this big mainframe computer or a whole series of mainframe computers in the distance and accessing it remotely. What I'm hearing here is it almost sounds like this is something that sits in your office that your employees could use either locally or remotely. Is that about right?
Yeah, I mean, you're not constrained by that, but what we're saying really is that users still want some control. When you're dealing with large amounts of data that you're shifting backwards and forwards, then cloud is great, but it's not a fix everything problem, one size fits all. So we're starting to see people do on-premises solutions where they actually have control of their data. The data's in their data center for security, so it doesn't leave and go into the cloud, because some people are still worried about what happens there. So they've still got full control, full configurability, and then they can use the cloud, for instance, to, if they need to ramp up or ramp down resources quickly, they can do that without actually having physical hardware there, but still have their own, let's call it a local cloud, to actually manage themselves, so that they've still got that full control over.
And this goes beyond storage. I mean, usually, up until now, when we've been thinking about cloud technologies, it's been, let's just store our data here. But it sounds to me like this is more than storage. This is like, let's do some work in there. Let's get that processing done there before it gets to our clients. Is that about right?
Yeah. I mean, the idea is that the hardware shouldn't get in the way of the creative process. Right? You shouldn't even be worried about whether you're in the cloud, whether you're local or whatever else. At the end of the day, you don't want to get in the way of that designer, the graphic artist, whoever's using that resource, because that takes them out of their zone, that slows down their productivity. You want to do it because it makes sense. And what we're now seeing is that, yeah, people are finding different, cleverer ways of doing things, and it hits a number of items. It hits central manageability. It's easier for the IT managers to manage. If a user needs more power quickly, you can change their profile to give them more GPU resource. And if you need to use the cloud to go out there and use hundreds and hundreds of nodes, you've still got the option of being able to do that and augment what you've already got.
Now, you mentioned in passing the cinema world. However, I imagine there's applications to this beyond cinema. I mean, are there specific areas that Dell's excited about?
I'm excited about all areas of where it's going. I mean, first of all, we've got to thank the media and entertainment folks in the start, because they've been pushing the technology envelope so much recently, certainly in the VR and the AR space, that we're actually seeing that ignite the interest in other commercial businesses, particularly things like oil and gas, healthcare, automotive design, AEC, so architecture. We're seeing all of these different techniques that have been pioneered by media and entertainment now being realistically used in business environments to enhance customer interaction, to enhance customer delight, to actually give people walkthroughs or show people cars before you've even started building things. So rapid prototyping now becomes real in there. And it's just really accelerated that industry. People used to think, when I said I was in VR and AR, they said I had a really cool job, right, because I played games all the time. That's not the case. VR and AR is just more than media and entertainment. It's every single vertical has a VR and AR need, and the one I'm probably the most excited about would be healthcare. Right, because when you start seeing how we can help people with PTSD through mediums of VR, we can do pain management through VR, surgeons are now using it for training. It just becomes a thing for the greater good of humankind. And when you're involved in that, how can you not be excited?
Is there a strategic reason why VR, AR, and virtualization is being tied together in your responsibilities? Is there a linkage between them?
Probably not that big a one, but I don't know if I want to say it on camera, but I'm a bit of a geek, right? And so any new technology that comes along,
what's next? It comes down to being what's next, yeah?
The next big thing. I mean, virtualization was around a few years back. I think the technology has really progressed now and got rid of some of the issues that people were having inside of virtualization. And I think now we're at a time where that's become a big thing, and I just wanted to lead that as well because I had experience in that area. But hey, I'm not letting go of VR and AR easily.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This was great.
Thanks, Neil. Great to be here.
This is Neil Schneider for MTBS-TV at SIGGRAPH 2019. We will, of course, be back with more. Thank you for watching.